everybody, welcome to the Joy of Dwarven Painting. I'm Erin. Today we're going to be painting from Caverns Deep, our standard Cavern paint scheme. In this tutorial we're going to be using Pokorny Paints, Cavern Dry Brush, Olive Dry Brush, Earthstone, School Bus, Shallow Water Green, Bubbles Blue, Moss Green, Terracotta Dry Brush, and Black. And we're also going to be using Golden's Iridescent in the colors Interference Blue and Interference Violet. Our unpainted pieces don't need to be primed, and they take Pokorny Paints High Flow Acrylic really well. The first step is to use Pokorny Paint color Earthstone and to select random accent stones and stalagmites and stalactites in your caverns. As a general rule, wait for the paint to dry between steps. Step 2 is the dry brush. To create the dry brush for the standard Caverns paint scheme, you're going to want to mix equal parts of Cavern Dry Brush and Olive Dry Brush with a few drops of School Bus. I recommend using a smaller brush when painting your Caverns Deep pieces, because it allows you to have more control when you're dry brushing over the uneven and organic forms. When you dry brush our pieces, they really come alive. Dry brushing adds contrast that highlights the depth, texture, and detail of our sculpts. So some advice I'd give for you painters out there that want to paint your collection of pieces as quickly as possible. Maybe you have a lot of pieces, maybe you just don't want to spend too much time on painting. A good tip for this is to just focus on doing one dry brush over all of your pieces. This is the most effective way to paint all your pieces and make them look finished. So this way, even your players without dark vision can see those finely sculpted details. When you're dry brushing, be sure to keep next to you a masterpiece that you refer back to. This is a good way to keep all of your dry brushing consistent. If your caverns are feeling really dark and dank, a good optional step to add more warmth to your caverns is to use Pokorny Paints Terracotta Dry Brush and a medium-sized brush, and just take a little bit of paint on the end of your brush and lightly dry brush the tips of the stalactites. Brush. The pools are a two-step process. The first step to painting in your water pools is to use Shallow Water Green mixed with a few drops of Bubbles Blue. Apply this in a thin, even layer to any area that divots in or between cracks to make your water pools and water veins. We tried with Caverns Deep to make the caverns feel really moist and atmospheric and damp. This is just a long way of saying we added water to the caverns, because we felt like that contrasted nicely with the natural neutral palette of the caverns. Then you want to add moss green to add highlights to the water. I let the base dry before I put on the moss green, and I blend outwards with a really fine brush. If you're applying wet on wet, it tends to be easier to blend out. Then once this is all dried, to give that extra wet and damp feel to your caverns, you can use clear nail polish over the top or gloss gel medium. On a lot of the Caverns Deep pieces, there are what we call thoughtful touches. On the ones that we're painting right now, there are a few mushroom clusters that I'm going to go ahead and paint. For that, we're going to be using a base of Pokorny Paints Bubble Blue. And then as an optional step after this, to add a little pizzazz, you can take the Golden Paints Interference Blue and dry brush on top of your already blue mushrooms. The last piece is the Dwarvenite Vein insert wall. To paint in the Dwarvenite Vein, what you're going to want to do is start with a base of Pokorny Paint Black. Then, once you've let that dry, you're going to want to dry brush over the black with the Golden Interference Blue. And then to finish the Dwarvenite Vein, you're going to want to dry brush over the same area with the Golden Interference Violet. This is how Caverns Deep pieces compare with original Caverns. As you can see, the main difference is, first of all, the dry brush is much darker and yellower on the Caverns Deep pieces, and also the water is a yellowish vibrant green compared to the original Caverns. Thanks for tuning in to the Joy of Dwarven Painting. Your Caverns Deep pieces will look so good, you'd think they'd be shallow. Check out other videos in this playlist to learn how to paint your other DF pieces. Please like and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want. Until next time!